All right, kids, things get a little bit easier. We're talking about the power rule right here. The power rule says that if you have some constant times x to the n, and you take the derivative of that, you drop the n down, and then subtract 1 from n. So basically what I do is I take my 3, right? I multiply it to 5, giving me 15. X stays x, and drop the 3 down to a 2. And so the derivative of f of x is going to be f prime of x equals 15x squared. That's it. Find the derivative of 7 times the square root of x. This requires the power rule. The power rule says that if I take the derivative of some constant times x to the nth power, what I do is I take that n, multiply it to c, and then subtract 1 from n, like so. Now, this doesn't look like x to the nth power. However, if I change the square root of x into x to the 1/2, now I'm good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that n, I'm going to drop it down and multiply it to the 7. So I have f prime of x is going to equal 1/2 times 7x, and then I'm going to subtract 1 from a half. Okay, so half of 7 is 7 over 2, and 1/2 minus 1 is negative 1/2. Now that's no good. I can't have a negative exponent. So what we do is we take any negative exponent and drop it to the other side of the fraction bar. So now you become 7 over 2 x to the positive 1/2. And just because I like things being a little bit cleaner than this, let's turn x to the positive 1/2 back into the square root of x. And you have 7 over 2 times root x, which is going to be a. So when you have a radical like we have here, turn the exponent into a rational exponent. You still follow the same rules, and you'll get your guy. All right, boys and girls, we have ourselves the derivative of negative 2x to the negative third. This requires the power rule. The power rule says that if you take the derivative of some number times x to the nth power, drop the n down and multiply it to c, and then subtract 1 from n, right? No different here, okay? F prime of x is going to have me take that negative 3 and drop it down and multiply it to negative 2, like that. X to the negative third then, minus 1. So this becomes positive 6, x to the negative 4, which I guess that's just how they want us to leave it. Normally I would write it out like this, but since I made ChatGPT do all of the work for me, it kept it like that. No matter, A is going to be the answer. Fun stuff. Find the derivative of f of x equals 4x to the fifth at x equals negative 1. This requires what's called the power rule. The power rule says that if you take the derivative of some number times x to the nth, you are going to take that n, multiply it to c, and then subtract 1 from n. So that's not going to be any different here. I'm going to take 5 and multiply it to 4, so f prime of x is going to be 5 times 4 x, and then I'm going to do 5 minus 1 because you subtract 1 from that 5. And so f prime of x is going to be 20 x to the fourth. Now I'm going to take my x and make it negative 1. So f prime of negative 1 is going to equal 20 times negative 1 to the fourth power. Negative 1 to the fourth power is just 1, and 20 times 1 is 20, so the answer in this case is B. Write an equation for the line which is tangent to the graph of f of x at the point where x equals 2. So I have some weird looking graph, and I don't know how accurate this is. This might not be accurate at all. But at some point on the original graph, wherever you have 2, you get 5. What I want to do is I want to find the equation of a line tangent to that point. What do I know? Well, what I know is the derivative is f of x equals 1 over x. So the derivative at this point 2 is going to give me the slope. So they want me to write this out in slope-intercept form, so let's find the slope. Here's my derivative. F prime of x is my derivative, and it's 1 over x. So my slope is going to be f prime of 2, which is going to be 1 over 2. So what I have so far is a y equals 1/2 x plus b. I don't have my y-intercept. Oh, but you know what I have here? I have here the fact that if I plug in 2, I get 5. So I have the point 2, 5. 2 is an x, 5 is a y. So 5 equals 1/2 times 2 plus b. 5 equals half of 2 is 1 plus b, subtract 1, and b is going to equal 4. So putting this all together, using the information that we have, y equals 1/2 x plus 4 is going to be my equation. That is the slope of the tangent line at the point x equals 2. And that's going to be u.